pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so is the, if I can just get confirmation, yes, we are good. All right, so we are. All right, so moving on, audience participation, we will go on meeting open to the public.
Not feeling it right
This portion of the meeting is specifically set aside, so if anyone is here to my apologies, we have the student representatives.
now.
So we'll start with,
We go to public first, right?
Yeah, we start with public, yeah. Yeah, meeting open to the public.
Just read that portion, dude.
yes, meeting open to the public, yeah. So meeting open to the public, so if anyone is here from the public, right now is your opportunity to speak.
Come to the microphone, state your address, and make your comments to the board if you have a public comment.
I think everybody's here.
No?
for-
All right.
All right,
Everybody's
so
here,
then
wants the
we,
kids.
I guess everybody just wants to see the kids speak, which is cool. So tonight, we'll go members from Rocky Hill, I think high school is tonight?
Yeah.
Yep.
So any members from the Rocky Hill High School are ready to speak? Please.
Amy.
Good evening, Board of Education. Katie and I are excited to be back presenting you with the extremely productive month we've had this month at Rocky Hill High School with a multitude of events going on. We started off this month with the post-secondary college career fair. There were many companies and corporations there to give sophomores and juniors some ideas on possible career paths. There were many different alternatives to college there, as well for those who might not want to go to college and are looking for an alternate route. All branches of the military attended with representatives, along with different jobs that can be studied attending trade or cosmetology school. All of the different job fields that attended were there, reassured students that there is a career route for everyone. Continuing on with the topic of college, our school recently had a junior planning night on March 19th, which helped parents get a better understanding of how to save for college and plan for their child's future. Finances, trips, and much more were discussed to help parents out. One more exciting event that we held was produced by the Drama Club. The club performed the musical Mamma Mia on March 22nd and 23rd. The stage crew and actors worked hard and performed outstandingly. Their efforts paid off, and the production was nominated for the CT Halo Award, which commends all honors high school students for every aspect of theater. This is a huge accomplishment for our theater department.
On the topic of accomplishments, on the 26th of March, the World Language Induction Ceremony took place at the high school. The French, Latin, and Spanish inductees were celebrated with a beautiful ceremony. All of the students who were inducted into the World Language Honor Society worked hard to be there that night and should be very proud of their accomplishments. The next day, the juniors took the long-awaited SATs, and at the end of the month held this year's Terror Tough. Over 40 teams participated this year, and all of the funds were given to charity. With the fun obstacles and mentally challenging puzzles, the fundraising 5K was a huge success with the help of those who ran the race and volunteered. Lastly, on the 3rd of April, the high school held a blood drive in partnership with the Red Cross. Throughout the day, students who were eligible donated their blood for a cause that is always in need of support. The students who were not eligible or could not donate for other reasons helped out the blood drive by helping pass out refreshments and assisting those who gave blood. More than 25 people donated and 14 volunteered at the blood drive, and we hope to host this event with the Red Cross for many years to come. We thank you for your time and attention. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, so next, Stevens School.
Good evening, Dr. Zito and board members. Thank you very much for having us this evening. We have two very special presenters this evening. We have Amelia Whitaker and Macklin Collins.
Good evening, Rocky Hill Board of Education. Today we are thrilled to share with you the whirlwind of adventures at Stevens School since we last visited in November.
That's right, Macklin. It's been a year filled with fun and learning. Let's dive right in, shall we?
In November, our students were fortunate to experience a spectacular underwater extravaganza with the performance of Under the Sea by the Interactive Educational Theater, portraying the pillars of character. The energy was electric and the costumes were fantastic.
Following that, our student council organized a heartwarming hat and mitten drive, spreading warmth and kindness throughout the community. The items were donated to Adelbrook and Cromwell. And speaking of warmth, who could forget the visit from the Rocky Hill Choir during the holidays? They truly decked the halls with their beautiful voices.
Moving on to our PBIS assembly, where third grade students dazzled us with a skit inspired by the elf and the shoemaker. We had spent the trimester focusing on gratitude, empathy, and kindness.
And let's not overlook the reading challenge, where our fellow classmates had a second chance to soak Mrs. Duran since we didn't reach our summer reading goal. This time, we immersed ourselves in books to make it happen. She was a great sport.
Oh, and who could forget the new therapy dog with Dakota? It was positively amazing. This year, there are 16 students who are getting to spend time reading to her on Mondays. We are excited to see this program grow and have even more students get to experience her next year.
In January, Miss Duran, Miss O'Brien, and Miss Miller invited 2 students to be honored at the Aqua Turf for the recognition of the arts by Cass. Artist Avery Miranda and musician Parth Colwalker represented Stevens School and Rocky Hill amazingly.
Let's fast forward to the 100th day of school celebration, where we spent the day exploring the number 100. Teachers always make this day so much fun. And right after that, we kicked off the PBIS Lunch Reward program, giving our students incentive to display positive behavior and stellar table manners in our cafeteria. Mrs. Cabahug draws names of students who were given Husky Heroes and lunch at lunch to sit at the table on our special Friday lunch days.
Another great week at school is Read Across America Week, which brought us a special visit from author Peter Reynolds and a host of community heroes, including our SRO officer Jordan, Rocky Hill firefighter Doug Clark, Connecticut Judge Bayo, Rocky Hill librarians, and local author Ronald Cox. It was a great week.
And let's not forget the musical magic of the third grade concert, Little Happy Dreamer. We dreamed up choreography, song lyrics, and melodies in connection to Peter Reynolds' book, Little Happy Dreamer. Who would have thought that our concert book would have been written by our special Read Across America guest author? The whole experience was truly what dreams are made of.
Grades 1 and 2 loved the enchanting in-house performance by Playhouse Theater about diversity and acceptance. Our kindergarten students had a chance to visit with some animals from the Hungerford Nature Center.
The Rocky Hill Education Foundation brought us a slam dunk at the Harlem Wizards game. Stevens School was issued a huge check for the communication boards we will install on our playgrounds. This will allow us to better communicate with our nonverbal classmates and friends. At the game, it was fun to watch Mr. Belizzi, Mrs. O'Brien, Mrs. Garcia, and Mrs. Duran on the court.
At our most recent PBIS assembly, we were so lucky to see a performance by Sakari. The performance included learning about instruments, dances, and music from Latin countries around the world. This performance tied into our theme of diversity for the month of March. The program was interactive and many students were able to participate and shine.
Our PTO held our Boostathon dance event last week, and the money raised by this event and other fundraising activities this year will go towards purchasing outdoor recess equipment, including cornhole, ping pong, and checker tables to expand our outdoor activities. Amelia and I are bummed to miss these dedications to our playground, but are happy for our younger friends. We are very grateful for the support of our PTO and wonderful things they bring to our school.
This week, we had our annual Stevens School Art Show. The halls of school were filled with student artwork. As you can see, it's been a few months of laughter and learning at Stevens School. We still have the final trimester ahead of us to enjoy field trips both in and out of school, our annual field day events, and our final PBIS assembly. Thank you for allowing us to share these unforgettable adventures.
Good job.
Great job. Thank you so much again for letting us come. We have a gift for you that the children, if you could come back, will come over and bring to you as a little appreciation.
Thank you so much. Great job.
Why, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I could use some of those. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good job.
All right, so let's, I think we'll take a 5-minute break just to share this enjoyment and go from there. So if I will entertain a motion.
Motion for 5-minute recess?
Yes.
Second?
Seconded by Ms. Tucker. I have
All in favor?
all in favor?
5-minute recess.
All right, the next items on the agenda are the approval of the minutes. Can I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for March 14th, Board Education meeting, March 27th, Board Education special meeting, and April 4th, Board Education Curriculum Committee meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Motion carries. I don't believe there's any nays. We are good to go. Dr. Zito, correspondence.
No correspondence this month.
Easy. Next agenda item, consent calendar. There is a non-renewal of employees' long-term and beginning substitutes, as well as approval of special education IDEA grant. Anyone opposed of the consent agenda? I believe we need a motion.
Yeah, motion to approve the consent calendar?
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, so we're on to the committee reports. Curriculum, I am the chair of the curriculum meeting reports. We had a very good curriculum meeting regarding several items. The most particular item was talking about the high school regarding the current vaping and how we are handling that situation regarding curriculum and educating the students and so forth. It was a very good meeting. Any questions or concerns regarding the curriculum meeting?
I just want to make a quick, I just want to thank Mr. Fody for coming to the meeting, and he's not there right now, but I personally did thank him also for coming out and explaining his procedures for the reasons why the bathrooms were locked and now they're kind of unlocked, and he's going through, he's not one to sit in the office. He is all over the building, and I am 110% positive that Mr. Fody is doing the best that he can, and I have the utmost respect for what he does in a day at the high school. So thank you
Yes.
for having this meeting.
Very good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we also talked about the PDEC committee as well as several reports that I believe we're going to go over this evening as well.
Yeah, we'll touch on them briefly. Darlene is not here. Amy is at a conference. Darlene's a little under the weather. Obviously, Mr. Slattery's not feeling well, so we're a little short-staffed here tonight. But we'll get
Yeah,
through it.
we're going to get through this
And
one.
I'll cover those two reports very briefly. At the curriculum meeting, I think we had 8 board members participating, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it since most of you were there. I did send out an update today on the major question that came up, and I'll review
Yes.
that quickly.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, the next committee report is facilities.
The Facilities Committee has not met yet. We are meeting on April 24th, 23rd.
Tuesday next week.
Perfect.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes.
Also, Mr. Gavin has a tough schedule sometimes. We want to be able to get this on his calendar. A tech committee,
Yes.
we can do an update. And then for Tuesday night, can we do it after facilities? I checked with Mr. Fred, I wanted to check with you too.
That's fine.
So I will put that in the update tomorrow, that we'll schedule the tech committee for immediately after the facilities. The facilities, it's at 6 o'clock in the Mosier Library Media Center, and we'll go right into technology after that meeting, and we'll have Dr. Listro, Danielle Galligan, and Chris will provide an update for the board.
Excellent.
That was the 23rd. I just want to make sure I got it.
Yeah.
23rd.
Whatever
Okay.
Tuesday is, I've got Tuesday. 23rd.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Gavin, can I put you on a spot for a moment?
I'm gonna fix that when I say when the tech meeting is.
Okay. I know that there was some questions on the Stevens as far as the teacher side. Can you give us a brief update on where the HVAC program is? I'm putting you on the spot. I apologize.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's the purpose of the meeting on
That's the
Tuesday.
purpose of the meeting.
Purpose of the
Okay.
meeting is to
Yes.
update on
Excellent.
A series of projects, including the status of the HVAC grant.
Excellent. All right, so we'll give another update next meeting then. Thank you. Finance Committee has not met. We have a meeting coming up with the Town Council to approve the Board of Ed budget coming up
The
on.
Board of Ed will present the budget on May 2nd.
Mhm.
I sent that communication out to the full board today. I'll remind people, again, as the meeting gets closer, it's at 5:30 here in the council chambers on May 2nd. Mr. Cosker had emailed me this morning, and about 10 minutes later, literally, the message came out from the town manager's assistant. So Tom had very good timing this morning.
Excellent, May 2nd.
Do you happen to have a time?
5:30.
Thank
And
you.
that's here.
That's in this room, yeah. And I will, now, that has changed in past years. They've bounced things around. So I'll continue to remind the board as that gets closer.
Depending on how the other stuff goes leading up to it.
Obviously, if something changes, you leave it.
Okay.
Now, do you present on the CIP as part of your
Yeah,
presentation,
it's
right?
part of our
You
presentation.
do it all together, okay,
Correct.
All right.
That's correct. Yep.
thanks.
Okay, personnel and negotiations.
We have not met since the last meeting, and as of right now, we don't have a meeting scheduled yet.
Policy,
No, we have not met.
thank
And
you.
nothing planned either.
That's, okay. Special education, that is myself, we have not met. We will meet as, on a need-based basis. School safety,
We have not met, and we don't have currently anything planned.
okay. And technology, I believe we just touched upon.
Technology will be meeting on April 23rd, not 24th, after the facilities meeting.
Okay. And crack council,
No, we have not met.
we have not met, okay. And calendar committee, which I don't believe has been a need to meet.
No.
That's probably a committee that could go away at this point.
That was ad hoc, right?
That was.
Yeah, it was ad hoc for the,
Yes.
that process, yeah.
Yes, okay. Old business, I believe there is none to report on at this time. Continuing on to new business, annual healthy food certification approval. Dr. Zito?
So you have a draft motion that we prepared for you. Because the school district participates in the National School Lunch Program, each year the board is required to adopt a healthy food certification statement. We really need you to adopt two motions, one for the healthy food option and the other for combined food and beverage exemptions. You have to read the whole motion, unfortunately, because it's a function of state statute. And Chuck does a great job putting this together every year, and somebody has to, on the board, has to read the motions, so.
Lucky me.
Oh, man, on the totem pole.
Thank Mr. Slattery, it is cold for this one. Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 10-215F, the Rockville Public Schools Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempt from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. The certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including, but not limited to, school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organization and groups. Second motion.
Is there a second?
No, there's a second motion.
No, you do them separately.
Motion
Oh, no, we're
separate.
separate,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, it's okay, you gave the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Lafredo, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. I believe there is a second motion.
The Rockville Public Schools Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standard and beverages not listed in Section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with the event occurring after the end of regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at a location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, or intercollegiate debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is a period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food and beverage sales.
Thank you. That is a motion. Before we take a second, Dr. Zito, can you just give us a little bit of color on what are we moving on here?
So you basically, it's about nutrition, concerns about childhood obesity, making sure that kids are eating healthy food and not eating junk food or not consuming sugary drinks. So basically, that's what you're doing. We participate in funding that we receive from the federal government through the state, passes through the state. And if we violate these conditions, we would not be eligible. So as a condition of participating, we need to ensure that the kids are eating healthy food and we're not offering Skittles and Coca-Cola and M&Ms and cookies and stuff. They have to wait till they get home to eat that stuff.
Okay. Very good. Is there a second?
Or go to a football game.
Second.
Well, yes, if you're at an event, you can buy a hot dog and you can buy chips, and they realize that is the exemption, that, attending the event, that those are exemptions, so.
Second.
Second, thank you.
And I'll just a quick comment too, it seems great, and this is again my first time on the board, so I think these things are kind of just rules that you kind of got to follow thing, but the way it's written is great, that second one, in that, again, the events after school and delineating soccer practices versus games and like an
We
event,
actually
so
wrote that
there's less,
language and then had the state review it. That's
it's less wiggle
that's our
room, like,
language here,
an
like-
event's an event, like, you can't be saying, this is an event, and you have a bunch of junk food, like,
You cannot be
that's
selling
great.
burgers at every
Right.
wrestling practice.
right. Unless it meets the standards, according to the.
But I
right.
could always eat them. I was always underweight.
Well,
The
you-
rest of us-
Anyway, awesome, thank you.
Okay, so second, Mr. Kosker, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, good. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay. I believe that brings us to agenda item number 19, Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Student Service Report. Mrs. Stevenson is not
She is
here
not
today.
here. She is at a professional conference on social and emotional learning, but she did have a couple of quick updates on the Dream Cafe. We've had a number of visitors. Carrie Wood, our state legislator, has held a legislative breakfast there. We've had a couple of classes. Allison Bergeron brought her life skills class from the high school to interact with the kids. Our music teacher at the middle school, Elizabeth Seelig, brought some classes over to interact with the kids. Really cool. Teachers have been going over during their planning or lunch times to support the program and hop in and grab a cup of coffee and see the kids. We actually have had a number of visits from the Weathersfield Transition Program. And I think some Weathersfield board members came in one day too. They're very interested in what's going on here in Rocky Hill. Amy is hosting on a quarterly basis, I know she's communicated with Mr. Kosker about this, but coffee and meet and greet with the assistant superintendent. So that's been going well. We recently had a disability rights activist and author, Diane Billack, came in. She was in today for a book signing. And one exciting thing coming down the pike, Jillian Perlini, who's our drama club coach, she's a Stevens teacher, but she coaches the high school drama club. She is planning, working with Amy and Aaron, our culinary director over there, on a dinner theater performance. So limited seating, so, because we have a capacity of 86 in the facility. But dinner theater is typically not a massive, it's not a Patriots game, it's a small group of people. But that's coming down the pike.
86 in the Dream Cafe?
That's the capacity in the Dream Cafe. Yeah.
That's tight.
You can pack them in there.
That's
Well,
great.
and that's not 86
That's
guests,
fantastic.
that's like
People.
probably
86
30
total.
or 40, because if you've got
Yeah.
kids performing and you've got people
Right.
working the event, that all
Right.
counts towards the 86. So
That's fantastic.
it'll be limited seating offered to the families of the participants first, and then we'll see what's available after that.
That's
But could
great.
be exciting. This was Ms. Perlini's idea. She approached us, and it's a fun thing to do.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you. Okay, Assistant Superintendent Finance and Operations Report, Mr. Zettergren.
Okay. Enclosed in your board packet is the regular financial report reflecting year-to-date figures for the month ending March 2024. I have highlighted accounts that we'll be keeping an eye on as we progress through the remainder of the school year. I've also included a projected financial report for March 2024 in accordance with the board policy that is anticipating us ending the year with a decent-sized surplus at this time. But things may change as these projections are, as we progress through the remainder of the school year. I will be sending out a memo tomorrow letting administrators know that all requisitions at the school level must be entered in our financial system by May 3rd, with the exception of final bills for graduation, field trips, and things of that nature. This is to help us get a better insight on where we might end at the end of the school year from a financial standpoint. So those are some things we put in place in order for us to do that. As the board may know, we are currently in negotiations with the custodian and nurses, bargaining units with their current contracts expiring June 30th of 2024. So those are going well. As Dr. Zito has mentioned in an email to the board, we are scheduled to present our budget to the town council on Thursday, May 2nd at 5:30. And lastly, we should be hearing shortly on our application we have put in with the state on the Stevens HVAC grant. So look forward to hearing back from them on that.
Fingers crossed. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, quick question, and this is back to the excess cost grant part on line 561.
Yep.
Again, I know it's always back and forth and you never know because they don't finalize that number on what the numbers are going to look like this year and going forward. I know they're trying to give more as far as the percentage of excess cost. Was that 70% or something? And
right.
Where's that looking like? Is that going to cover you this year?
Yeah, it looks like
I know it's a deficit because the numbers change, but.
Yeah, we just heard recently they do try to finalize it because our final excess cost payment is due in the month of May.
Right.
So it looks like we'll be getting an additional $165,000 in that May payment.
Yeah.
So that should, put us pretty close to a break even on the tuition account.
Okay. Awesome, thank you.
I have a quick question. Do we get final numbers on the insurance costs for next year?
We have gotten our final numbers. We're working through MOUs with our various bargaining units just to get those things finalized. So we're right in the middle of all that.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Mr. Zettergren. Okay, a report from Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instructions Report. Dr. Zito, will you fill in for Dr. Listro?
She's also a little bit under the weather tonight, called me at about 6:30, so apologizes for her absence. I'm not going to go into great detail. You have paper copies of the performance and profile report. You also have the Next Generation Accountability Report. We spent about an hour going through this at the curriculum committee meeting. I think we had 8 board members in attendance that evening. I just want to touch on a couple of things. With respect to the profile and performance report, I want to make sure that everybody received the email I sent this afternoon. The major question that had come up on that report, and this is basically just an overview of each school. Every school in the state, these are accessible on the state website, has a report that the state puts together. The big concern there was roughly a $2 million discrepancy, and I laid everything out for you to explain the rationale behind it. Part of it was the staffing. Even though the enrollment on that report indicates that there were very close sizes, the 2021-22 data was the expenditures, and that note is on there. And there was a discrepancy there of almost 80 students. So we look at that. I went back and looked at the number of teachers and explained the discrepancy in staffing. Almost $1 million because there was an assistant principal versus no AP at Stevens, 4 additional regular classroom teachers, additional special educator, and kind of a trend line of higher salaries in general for West Hill staff as a result of a little more experience. So the other major difference was in that $7 million of expenses for that school, it includes that HVAC project from that year, from the COVID money. So there's your gap. But I laid it out in a lot of detail in your email. I don't want to, get into the weeds on it. But certainly if you have questions, follow up with me. If you have any questions on the report, shoot me an email. Happy to respond. Again, because we spent an hour on this, I don't want to, waste folks' time this evening. In terms of the Next Generation Accountability Reports, Darlene did a great job reviewing that as well. It's basically a composite score of 12 indicators. All of our schools are in good shape. Any score of 3 or better is considered meeting state expectations. West Hill stands out as a school of distinction, received a 1. The other schools were 2s and 3s. Again, never, anything above a 3 is 3 or better is fine. So I have no concerns. Where we don't have, in one case, we have a 3 because we have some gap indicators. That our students as a whole are doing extremely well. There are subgroups that are a little, falling behind. We're going to continue to focus on those kids, but overall, again, we spent a lot of time on this, and no concerns.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zito. Any questions on the performance reports or Next Generation Accountability Report? Excellent. Okay, next agenda item, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Zito?
All right, I will be brief on a couple of reports. First of all, thanks to Mr. Gavin, Ms. Manella, and Ms. Lafredo for your flexibility, adding that technology report. I know we wanted to get back to you with an update on progress this spring. So that will be held on April 23rd following the facilities meeting at Mosier at 6 o'clock. So 2 meetings on April 23rd. I'll put that in the update as well. The Music Honor Society at the high school, Tri-M, they have their inductions on April 30th at 6 o'clock in the auditorium. We've already discussed several times the budget presentation to the council scheduled for May 2nd, 5:30. National Art Honor Society is going to be at the high school. Those inductions are May 22nd at 6 o'clock. That's the Art Honor Society. We did the regular National Honor Society that's typically done around Thanksgiving now. And then we have the proms coming up May 17th and May 31st. Prom dates coming around the corner. So my message is always to the kids, it's an exciting time of year for the juniors and seniors, but please talk to mom and dad about making smart decisions as we get into the warm weather and prom season.
I have a freshman.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's my message. Like, be safe, because
Be safe.
every spring we read about accidents, and mainly automobile accidents with kids at prom time. So,
Yes.
we really stress prom graduation. It's a super exciting time, but we want kids to make good decisions too.
Yes. All right, any questions for Dr. Zito? Okay, last agenda item is the board's chairman report. I'm clearly stepping in for Mr. Slattery, so I do not have a chairman's report, but I would just like to say thank you to all the teachers who are doing a tremendous job, and our administrators that are also doing equally job. I highly suggest for us board members to attend the May 2nd town council meeting to approve our Board of Education budget, but that's really all that I have to report today. Any questions or further comments? All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Gavel us.
Oh.
You're fancy. You got the gavel.